All right, today we're going to install Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics, and Google Webmaster Tools, which is also known as a Search Console, into this site, stocksupply.com, a site we just recently finished and went live with. And so the first step after you go live is to get these tools set up. We're going to use the Chrome browser because it has a free Chrome extension, so we can kind of see what we're doing after once we start installing this. So we're going to need to set up some accounts, and the first account we typically set up is for a client's name with .orbis, so we can get this collective account and everybody can share this as we're getting this going. And then we're going to set up a Google Analytics account, a Tag Manager account here, and then this Webmaster account, which is really this Search Console. So let's get rolling. So this is the email account I created for the client, and then I've gone over and logged into Google Analytics with that account, and then I'm going to click this Start Measuring, and we'll get this set up with the website. Also kind of recommend going to the URL itself, just so you don't make a mistake. Okay, I'm going to leave those on. You can certainly uncheck all those if you don't want any kind of measurement going on against your account. Going for the web. This is HTTPS. I usually leave these on because these are going to go to the email address that we set up. All right, so this is our ID here. Now, once I have that, we're not going to install this code here because we're going to use Google Tag Manager to install this code. So we went to analytics.google.com. Now we're going to go to tagmanager.google.com. And in there, I've logged in with the email account, and we're going to create an account here. Okay, so I've created an account in Google Tag Manager, and what it has is this code that you install into the site. And over on our Squarespace site, in the Code Injection tab, which is under Advanced Tools, I already have this punched in right here. That Google Tag Manager, and so all I do is I've got it commented out, copy this, and I could also just do the ID as well, but either one, they'll both work. Hit save. Now that we've got this connected to our Squarespace website, we want to create a new tag. All right, we're going to configure this tag, and so. A little background, Google Tag Manager allows you to add all kinds of tags, a ton of tags. You could go through this and see just all the amazing marketing tech, as I would call it, that you can add. Top of the list is typically, and the benefit of this is that once Google Tag Manager is installed, you can do a lot of different things through your site by going through Tag Manager and not getting into the code of your website. When you have sites rebuilt and move your site all around, this can stay with it, so you don't have to worry about moving code. It's a really nice feature, so that's why we start with it. But I'm going to go with the Universal Analytics here, and we're going to track our page views. And our settings variable is our new Google Analytics setup tracking ID, and this is the ID we copied when we saved that. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to trigger it. So we just click on this trigger, and we're going to just go all pages. Now we can see that we're going to run this analytics. Hit save. The next thing we want to do is we want to submit this, and we're publishing it. So we can do all this stuff without submitting it. We can do a lot of testing, but now we're going to do this. And now back to stocksupply.com. I've got my Google Tag Assistant installed, and so what I can do is this is a Chrome extension, so you can hit Manage Extensions and then go search for Google Tag Assistant. That's what this is. And then once you have Google Tag Assistant installed, you will turn this on, and you can see that I need to enable this. So I'm going to hit Enable, and now I'm going to hit Reload. And right away, I can see that there's two tags firing because there's a little 2 in there. When I click on that, I can see the different tags, Google Analytics account and Google Tag Manager. So this means we are up and running with Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. Now, I did want to mention that by default, Squarespace does have analytics. If I go back here to analytics, I can look at the activity log, popular content, form buttons, and conversions. With Google Analytics, you can get a lot more detailed in the traffic that you're monitoring if you want to get more advanced. All right, so we've got Google Tag Manager installed. The next thing we want to get installed is our Webmasters account. So if I go to google.com/webmasters, the first thing I want to do is click on Search Console. And when you get to the Google Search Console, and we want to start by our property type. Now, I typically go with this URL prefix because it allows multiple verification methods. So there's different verifications in the way that you want to go about it, but I like the URL prefix for this. Continue that. I've got some options here. I can either download this file, or I can use an HTML tag, Google Analytics. What I typically do is I go with the HTML tag, and I've got this tag, and I copy it, then I go back to the code injection site of the Squarespace site, and here's our Webmaster Tools verification. So I'm going to basically just override this one as an old one or just a placeholder that's commented out. I'm just going to pop this in like that. Hit save, and now that I've done that, and now I can see that I've been verified. So I can just go to the property now. So our next objective, now that we've got that installed, is that we want to submit an XML sitemap. That's what tells Google we're ready to have them start looking at our content. So back over in our Search Console, we're going to go to Sitemaps, and it always has the same for every Squarespace site. So just to check, we're going to go sitemap.xml. Just to verify it. Yep, it indeed is good to go. Back to our sitemap. We're submitting, successfully got it. And now we can return here. We can log in and see what the results are. That's the extent of setting up these accounts. And the reason why we're doing it is because number one, we are getting indexed in Google search. And number two, it sets us up for all kinds of marketing tech that require no coding and changes to your site. And then we also have a much higher level of engagement measurement possible with Google Tag Manager than we do with traditional the tools that come with your Squarespace site.